Renegades, so you never really know.
Well, I do know this. You are a doubter of the Renegades, and thus you must be banished to, well, I don't know, hogtied and put in front of a train track or something, because this one's going to be Hypheria and I taking our second semifinal.
I'm glad he's gone, because he described the Renegades past 2 regionals as pretty good. They've been playing pretty good. They've won 2 regionals. What do you mean?
I kind of feel that it's really hard to truly impress Bass from the past unless you're the Direwolves, in which case, you know, well then, that's another story entirely, though. At the moment, though, Renegades versus Riot Gaming, and in case we hadn't been clear enough for this, Riot Gaming, they win, they keep those Swedish dreams alive. However, if the Renegades find the victory, it's going to be ground zero, fighting their way through. They will have it secured. Doesn't matter their result for the rest of the tournament, doesn't even matter the result for the rest of the day. They will be the second representatives for the Oceanic region.
It's kind of a beautiful story, isn't it? That Renegades, if they win here, they take along their main rival as well directly, even though I'm sure I wanted to say that they would like them to be knocked out. At the same time, Renegades, they want competition. They want people at that major who they feel like they could actually match and are really toe-to-toe with.
I mean, we saw it in the video. There was so much respect between the Renegades and Ground Zero. I think if the Renegades were given a choice on which team they would want to go to Sweden with them, it would be Ground Zero. So in a sense, I think they're happy to play for their rivals in this instance. A lot of fight in front of the net. Riot unable to push it through. I believe it was also Fever, though, Hypheria, who said it in an interview one time. They love playing against each other because something about Renegades versus Ground Zero, the tempo gets faster, the pace gets quicker, and they don't scrim against each other to keep their strats a secret. Obviously, these two teams, they want to be the two that do advance.
A bit of pettiness, I feel like, as well. They haven't been scrimming each other for ages, and well, they're not all of a sudden going to start now. Pass back from Tango to Kaka. You will rip that into the back of the net. Great start for Riot.
And we're talking about this as if it's already a done deal. Look, Riot has been in that number 3-4 spot, all split log. They can take it to teams like the Renegades, like Ground Zero. That's where their focus has been. And guess what? They're striking first. 1-0 lead for the team in orange.
This bodes well for Riot, because I said that they always start off a bit slow. They need to wake up going into this series and coming out the gates fire. And of course, the game's not over because Fever, he still has a thing to say about us knocking on the door, but Riot will shut it, not kindly.
Yeah, it was a very good shutdown coming from the Riot side, who are going to continue to look for that backboard. Riot, overall, though, it's interesting because yes, they're the number 3-4 team. However, yesterday, Hypheria, they look shaky at times, having to go the distance. Well, they're not looking shaky now. Kaka finds a quick second.
They're looking shaky yesterday, but now they're making Renegades quake in their boots for a second, as on defense, they fall apart, literally get demoed. Renegades down by 2.5 minutes into the game, and the theory always is, if your opponent is able to do it, you should be able to do so as well.
And we'll see if the Renegades can bring it right back. It will be Fever off of the ceiling. Waits till they hit the ground before trying to make a lunge. Defense will have it red this time around. 2 goals down against a team like Riot is always going to be in a difficult place to be in. This is such an interesting matchup. On one hand, you have the Renegades, who are the highest goal scorers in the region. On the other hand, you have Riot Gaming, who might be the best defense in the region. It really is the case of, you know, number ones on each side of the pitch, respectively. So even though a majority of this game is probably going to be played on the orange side of the field, it is Riot who has that 2-0 lead.
To keep that calmness in the defensive end amazes me. I think that's one of the most impressive ends, because it's so incredibly tough to stay composed when your opponents are just firing such, just like we saw there, and not double commit. Riot Gaming are doing an exquisite job right now.
They are. They're doing exactly what they need to do to get themselves a quick Game 1 victory. It is Renegades on the hunt, though. Kami with a chance, a bit of an unforced error, opens the doorway for a double commit, but CJ with the awkward challenge may have just opened up the net. Tango underneath, doesn't put it on target. Renegades survive what should have been a goal against them.
They survive, but they're only hanging on by a thread, and that is their life in this game. Because even that is not looking great whatsoever. They need to put a goal into the back of the net quickly. I must admit, though, I don't think Renegades are necessarily playing at their absolute best just yet.
Yeah, we'll see if they'll be able to bring it back. As I see a nice clear from Kaka across the center of the pitch. Kami, though, will be the one who takes it back away. Ball falling down, Fever. able to push it to the corner before something dangerous can happen. Sorry, that was Finn who was able to do that. Too many players starting with the letter F today. Kami throws it down, unable to connect with Fever this time. CJ will be the one who will corral it. Goes for the dribble, shut down again by this Riot defense.
Fever out to the side, trying to test the Riot defense. They just want to go at this moment. Renegades, they have been shut out altogether for the entirety of 5 minutes, and being highest goal scorer, well, that's not necessarily going to change that fact. Sure, you might not have a massive dent in the statistics, but who cares about statistics? Riot does. They put a third one on the board.
And this is a bit of a statement game 1 victory for Riot Gaming. They come out against the #1 team in the region, put 3 on them, looking to shut out the Renegades in our opener. Riot Gaming, they look, well, cool, calm, collected, and control. You wouldn't think that they're fighting for their life right now.
And that they're winning as well. If you look at their face, they never show any emotion whatsoever. It's incredibly
stoic.
funny. Absolutely, they don't move whatsoever. I'm still not entirely convinced they're humans.
I still don't understand how you can have a team name like Riot and be this cool, calm, collected in any situation. Oh, there's a smile from Finn, though. They just have to wait till the end of the game, give a smile, give him a fist bump, and then serious face. Yep. All right, back to focus.
What do you expect? What do you expect? That they're going to throw rock through their own window or something to live up to their name?
Excitement. I mean, we saw a cool little dance from Levi. We've seen Fever pop off. Or sorry, not Fever. We've seen Fiverr pop off on occasion. We want to see that energy. What's interesting, though, Renegades are probably right up there with them, though, when you look at teams that keep that calm composure throughout the series. These are 2 of the most straight-faced teams. And I think it kind of speaks volume, because when you look at some of the top-performing teams as well internationally, they kind of have that same attitude, it feels at times, where it is very much straight-laced, down to business, keep your emotion in check until the very, very end. That's always been kind of Riot's mental motto, mantra, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of M words for it, and right now the big one is match victory, or at least a game victory, going Riot's way.
You can make an argument for both sides, where if you're fired up, it will bring you more momentum, but if you're stoic the entire way through, it can get you that mental fortitude you need to make a comeback. Because let's be real, Rocket League is as much a mental game as it is just a game of absolutely being skilled at the game. If you have a terrible mental and you fall apart quickly, it doesn't matter, because you need to show up in big scenarios. Riot Gaming are currently doing so, and Renegades, they need to get something back in order to prove that they're 2-time champs.
Absolutely. That was not the quick start out the gate that the Renegades may have been looking for. Being shut out against Riot isn't an unusual situation, but it is if you are looking to be the #1 seed, if you're looking to be the first team to win 3 regionals in a row, and if you're looking to help Ground Zero make their trip to Sweden again. That's what is at stake right now. All the Ground Zero fans sending the Renegades of all teams their hopes and prayers that they can possibly make it through, hoping for a turnaround in our second game. Fever leads the charge, but Finn will make the save.
That's absolutely not the case that if Riot win this, that they're through to the major and Ground Zero are out. No, then we go into a whole nother scenario. Riot Gaming are fighting for their lives in this tournament and for major contention. They know it. Kaka trying to force his way through, but can't get past Kami.
As we do watch CJ try to take that ball across the middle of the pitch, finds the bump onto Finn, but isn't able to take possession away straight away. Fever making 2 defenders miss, though. Kind of that Fever special. Opens the doorway for CJ. Doesn't get the dunk on the double commit. Follow-up touch. Wasn't powerful enough to beat out Tango. Riot's Gaming once again does just enough on defense to survive a Renegades attack.
Fever looks to set up the counter attack. They survive an attack. Now they want one for themselves. They took notes, and now they need to improve on the attacking end. Kaka backing out of that commit. This is a midfield battle, just heavily engaged. Neither side really wanting to give an inch, and that's obvious. You don't want to give any space to your opponent. Kami finds it, and Kaka finds the fit and finds the save.
That was still an accurate shot, as we see another one looking to be set up from Kami. Won't be able to get it past Tango. CJ lobbing it more towards the net. The backboard defense from Riot on point. They're not finding the passes, but they're finding space. Fever looks to slow the pace down. That opens the doorway, and it takes just under 7 minutes, but the Renegades get their first goal of the series.
Fever did a massive job. Finn push that kind of in towards the center yet again, and Renegades, they will have a player there. If you push that out wide, it doesn't matter whether you can get the follow-up or not. At least it'll be safe for a little bit. You give your team time to respond to the play at hand, but now you have to force it back. This is where the stoicness comes in. You just have that grinding mentality as Kami rips one from distance. Tango push that away.
As we see more Renegades playing forward. Now it goes back the other way. Fever held in an awkward spot. Ball waterfalls down. Good defensive effort by Kami to be the first one to the ball. CJ as well beating out Tango. And again, it's the Renegades who are going to be able to survive attacks. And now they're going to have to try and find an attack themselves. Finn has a reset available. CJ has that red. Follow-up will be found by Kami. And midfield put on lockdown right now. The Renegades, they're setting themselves up once more for one of these long sustained clean attacking formations.
And Kaka up to the skies, flip reset, dives underneath. Kami still getting a touch though, and that will deny that entire attack from Riot Gaming, putting all their eggs into the Kaka basket. And Tango denies CJ from moving into the counter. Kami with a misread has to adapt in mid-air. Does manage to do so. Off to the backboard now. Uh-oh, indeed. Whoa. But maybe not for Renegades. Somebody call an ambulance, but not for me, says Renegades. They can't move through.
I have never seen the double commit fake. It almost worked. Kami's touch, I think, was a little bit cleaner and a little bit nicer. The Renegades will use that to go up 2-0.
This is a delicate shot here from Kami right underneath the crossbar. Kaka, no shot that he was saving that. Renegades move themselves up by 2. Are we going to see that same scenario as we saw in the first series, where they try kind of just trade games dominantly every single time?
Oh, that could be the case right now. I mean, it's looking to be headed in that direction. I think a big thing, though, that we're seeing in the second game is where the Renegades are setting up their attack in comparison to the first. The first game, they were playing right tight, right in Riot's space, and Riot was just doing a good job at keeping the Renegades attack just enough off balance. This game has been much more through the middle of the field. The Renegades have been kind of drawing the field out a little bit more, stronger touches on their defensive half and at that midfield line, and forcing Riot to be a bit more spread out themselves, where they might not always look as comfortable. We've seen a couple of little unforced errors from them as a result. That's kind of what led to those 2 goals. So an adjustment by the Renegades nearly gets a double touch from Fever as well. Good to see from the team in blue. They are still adapting. They are still giving Riot new looks with each passing minute.
Next to that, the Renegades also don't bite anymore on defense. They just wait for the play to happen and then they react. CJ now with a short tries to play to the bottom right. Tango swats that away from the left side of the goal now, going and right back and forth every single time. Renegades, if they put another one into the back of the net, surely that is a game, set, and match. It's already looking like it, but Tango has an opportunity to change something about it. Kaka pre-jumps. Finn still up for the play. Kaka off the backboard, tries to redirect, but Kami stops it. Tango with another shot is weakened. There's a bump and Tango breaks through.
Oh, that's a massive play from Riot Gaming. I've never really seen him this dynamic on the attack, but backboard shots, desperate bumps. Kaka doing it all on that offensive side on the field. Usually we see those plays when he's playing defense. Good to see the adaptation. Good to see the goal. 36 seconds, Hyperia. Riot Gaming, they're trying to bring this one back.
They certainly can as well. Finn off the ceiling. Has to use his flip a little bit too early, but he's got the aerial control. Fever has to get a touch, does indeed do so. Pivotal that he does. Doesn't find the second one as Kami is up to the play. Finn with a good block. CJ down the line, deep into the opposing territory. Finn up for it, tries to extend backwards, misses the ball altogether, but that causes Fever to miss. Tango goes underneath. Kaka has an open net and Riot Gaming tie it up.
What just happened to the Renegades defense? Finn fakes, Tango fakes, Kaka open net. Yeah, that's gonna go through. Oh, remember when the Renegades pulled the double fake? Riot's looked better.
That's been the case of this game. Riot Game, and they are able to slap themselves back, but not off of kickoff. Please, not like this. Renegades, they're pushing. They still want this to end in regulation. Kaka with a good read on where that was going. CJ denied by Finn. Kami keeps that up in the opposing corner. Good decision. Kaka just lets that one drop, but we have game 2 overtime.
And if I am a Ground Zero fan, I am expecting an apology sometime in the near future that this game is even going to overtime after we saw that equalizing goal right now. They were looking like the Renegades were back, things, you know, once again in control, and now, all of a sudden, Riot, 2 goals in the final 36 seconds, taking us to an overtime, a chance to go up 2-0 in this series. They are playing like a team whose life depends on it, and Kaka puts it through. Riot Gaming goes up 2-0.
Riot Gaming up 2-0, and that Bass from the past, dude, he might have an inkling about what he's talking about. Absolutely brilliantly done by Riot Gaming. I have not expected this result. You look at them, it's as if nothing happened.
Yeah, no, they focus on that goal. What is 2 games, Cypheria? No, nothing. It's meaningless. Meaningless. It's all about 4 games. That's what you need to win. So the job is only halfway done. However, what a job they are putting out. Look at the shot total from the Renegades. 13 compared to the 6 from Riot Gaming. However, those 3 goals, they were huge. And yeah, the timeout already from the Renegades. They need to kind of come to grips with what just happened.
Renegades, they kind of fell off at the end of that series. I guess we could call them Renegades.
Oh.
I don't think this is what they're talking about in the break, though. I think they're having a proper chat through CJ taking the word and talking to his teammates in the dark rooms.
Yeah, you need to sort of talk them up and kind of let them know, hey guys, it's okay, we got this. We played 4.5 minutes of great Rocket League in game number 2, all right? That normally will be enough to find a victory here. Easily, we can take this back. We're that best team for a reason. We're going to Sweden for a reason. Let's bring it back right now, and I think they have that chance to do so. However, if you're Riot Gaming, normally I'd be talking about how great that momentum must feel, and, you know, internally, I'm sure they're celebrating. I'm sure that party is happening, but you'd have to think Renegades are going to come back after this tactical timeout with something to prove.
And trying to keep yourself calm obviously means that you have to face the facts. And Riot Gaming, they're in a phenomenal position, but that doesn't mean that they have locked it up by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. 2 games is not going to keep them in major contention. They need a 4, as you said. And Renegades, with that tactical timeout, they might just come out all guns blazing. Even though I think in the past, their tactical timeouts haven't necessarily been momentum changing.
No, the tactical timeouts, they're usually saved, though, when your back is completely against the wall. I kind of appreciate the tactical timeout coming out a bit earlier in this series to just try to nip this current trend in the bud, because at the moment, it really has been a case of Renegades. They look so strong for a majority of the game, and then they make 1 or 2 slip-ups, and Riot is there to punish. Game number 3 right now. This is the Renegades on the back foot. This is the Renegades possibly feeling a little bit more pressure, and already we're seeing swings and misses on the attacking half.
Renegades, they've been swinging back and forth, and that is just a little bit too much. And if you give a Riot Gaming a bit of momentum, they'll take it. They're on point. They're on a lot right now, and able to move across the pitch as Finn, straight to Kaka. Kaka, does he go solo? Does he drop it back into Finn? He answers it with a pass back to Finn. Tango tries to pick it up in the center, beats Fever by a mile. I'm not even too sure what Fever committed. I guess for this, he's still up the pitch. Kaka with a touch out to the side. Still taken over by Kami. That is a ripper.
What a slice that shot was. 84 kilometers an hour off the defender, but it's the angle combined with the power that made that touch so deadly. Nothing Riot could do to stop that one from falling in. Renegades back in that comfortable position, back out in front. It's only a 1-0 lead. However, after the timeout, after what happened last game, you'd have to think this is them finally showing their true form.
That's kind of the entire case with Renegades right now, right? As soon as they start winning, it's, oh, they found their form. Here they go. Here they'll take 4 games straight, or maybe not necessarily that, but here they are back into form. I think that's on their own mental as well. So, okay, nice. We got the first goal. It was also in the previous one, but that also brings the risk of dropping off and dropping your guard.
Well, we saw that happen in the second game, right? We've seen that happen once before, and usually it just takes 1 slap on the wrist to kind of scare yourself straight once more. At least if I'm a Renegades fan or a Ground Zero fan, that's what I'm going to be hoping for at this stage right now. If I'm a Ground Zero fan, I probably have no idea what's going on. I probably can't even watch this series right now. However, if I'm a Riot Gaming fan, I too am going through those same nerves, because it feels like eventually the Renegades are probably going to take the fight back to you. You don't come into it expecting that 4-0. And you're thinking there's still a lot of work to be done. That early goal for the Renegades kind of emphasizes that.
feel like the inner analyst will come out in everybody as soon as you're a Riot fan in this particular matchup, spotting all the mistakes from Renegades and perfectly knowing how to do it better. Can you do it better than this? Fever moves through 2 and can't quite get it into the back of the net.
I'm expecting a full manifesto from one Bass from the past, especially after this goal that Fever bangs through, catching it one more time. Another just slice across the center of the pitch. 2-point lead now for the Renegades.
This is familiar territory, so Riot Game, and they've got that propellant for them. They know they can do it. They just have to bring it out. They even have a minute to spare, or a minute extra in light of previous games. Finn, 50. CJ with a clear away. Tango can't quite get it, so it's Kaka all the way back. CJ passes that off to the center. Kaka, where you're not committing, lets Tango do the job. Fever was lurking up close, and if you would let Fever get that much space, where Riot Gaming is given so much space, stop doing that.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising to see Riot not show that sense of urgency on defense that we saw earlier, trying instead to play reactively. But Kami, how many times is Kami going to get bangers from the corner before teams recognize the situation? Like, hold on, there's going to be a lot of power coming from this Kiwi.
Maybe we shouldn't let him do that. You said maybe usually it's one slip, a slap on the wrist will do the job. But currently, not quite Riot Gaming. They haven't been learning from their mistakes, and they're still giving up a bit too much space, trying to take their time in every single aerial play in a Kaka. If you're gonna go up slow, your opponent will have it read easily.
And now I'm going to kind of want to pay attention to the positioning of Tango in particular, because when Riot does start to increase the pace, when we start to see those more aggressive defensive moves, it will typically come through Tango. And in both of those goals we saw from Kami, Tango not really to be seen. So I'm curious if Tango's trying to cheat up the pitch in those situations, relying on the team, marking a player like Fever or CJ instead of keeping their eyes on Kami. I'm not entirely certain as of yet. However, Tango is going to be the one who I'm going to be looking to turn things around to get momentum back in the favor of Riot Gaming.
That's one of the most important parts about being professional at this game, right? That you know what to do when you're not at the play, where to position yourself, having a great read on the play. And Renegades thus far have been doing that better, knowing how to look Riot Gaming into their own defensive half. Now, that is a bit of a strategy Riot Gaming do like to play at, but actually scoring and breaking through, bringing them in awkward scenarios. That's exactly what Renegades are doing, as CJ looks for the bump on Finn, doesn't quite find him. This is a 2v3 scenario. Riot Gaming, they want any chance. They need to score right here, but Fever has got it covered.
That pre-jump from Kami was so premature. Fever, though, was able to make their own pre-jump from the side and actually gets there in time. Scary look. Had they kept that ball underneath, we're probably looking at Riot scoring a goal. As it stands, 3-goal differential, less than a minute to go. The Renegades, more likely than not, about to find their first victory in this series, a much needed one.
If you have to reverse sweep Riot Gaming, of course it's possible, but considering Riot Gaming did reverse sweep Renegades the previous regional, as CJ decides to miss an open net, he's doing it for content, lads. He's doing it for content.
Yeah, gotta get those highlight reel plays in right about now. Shot across the middle of the pitch. CJ there for the save, and a second save from Fever. I'm not sure how Fever got behind that in time, but that shuts down any hope Riot might have had. Get a reset goal on top of it as well. This is the Renegades in form. This is the Renegades that we expect to see as our #1 seed.
Fever has been popping absolutely ridiculous on the defensive end. So many clutch saves, 1v1 scenarios where he comes out a victor every single time to be able to move into the attack, pick up boots, go for the flip reset, and actually score that entire run of play. You wouldn't bet money on it, but if it's Fever up to the play, you just might. 4-0 for Renegades will be the likely ending score unless they can bring in the 5th one. Riot Gaming, they have to find that momentum yet again.
I feel like I've said this so many times, but Fever is absolutely if not the best, one of the best players at going cross-pitch, keeping control, going corner to corner or corner to goal in that situation, even goal to goal, some might say. Just so good at always making plays happen. That's why, you know, the Renegades have sort of looked to bring him on back towards the end of RLCS is for those types of performances. What's been interesting is so far throughout RLCS 2021-2022, it's been a lot of the CJ Kami show, actually. Not that Fever hasn't been involved or playing great, but he hasn't been that breakout star that we've seen, similar to what Fiber would be to Direwolves, or what those types of situations, I suppose. Fiber Direwolves probably the best one to go to, or maybe even High to Bandits. However, he still has it in him. He can still make plays like that happen.
It's those players who really edify the team, who bring them along and say, look, lads, I know we've been slacking, but I'll pick it up for all of us, and we'll make sure we get the comeback. We put in a proper dent in the Renegades. They actually make their little timeout worth it. Get the third one in the bag, or, well, the third game, because it's still Riot Gaming in the lead for series.
Yeah, Riot Gaming still is out in front. And even though that shutout looked really good, I mean, it looked very good for the Renegades, they still have a lot of work to do on their own side of the pitch as well. I love that reset. Oh, that was so clean.
Beauty.
As we do look ahead right now. I mean, I want to see how long the Renegades can keep this momentum going, because typically as soon as you give the Renegades an inch, they're going to take a mile. They're going to look to start running away with this series. Riot Gaming, when they've been put under pressure, at least during this Regional 3 so far, that's when things have started to look a little shaky for them. So we'll be curious to see how they're going to be able to bring it back. We are on the pitch for game number 4, by the way. This is live, and the Renegades are still looking to keep this run going. Good play from Finn, not able to take it to the net.
Still the trouble and paradise on the side of Renegades. The attack still coming. Tango looks for the flip, tries to go underneath instead. CJ has got it red. Tango, awkward recovery. Fever with a miss altogether allows Kaka an opportunity, and then it's there with the short. Finn can't finish it off. Kaka now to the backward, denied by Fever. Counter attack started directly, but that's into no man's land, right into the hands of Riot Gaming. Yet again, Kaka just fakes it out, looks for the redirect off the backboard. And it's Finn who tries to take over Riot Gaming. I love this start though. They haven't scored, obviously, but they're putting on pressure.
Yeah, and that's something we've kind of been clamoring for Riot Gaming to do, I feel, since Regional 1, is show opportunities where they can apply that pressure and actually be a bit of an offensive team as well. Show a second facet to this squad, and we see that come out early in this game. Doesn't work out. Kami is still going to get our first goal. However, well, at least Riot tried.
Well, Kami bumped Kaka, so I guess it's fair enough, bumping into the back of Kaka and then getting it into the back of the net. My initial question was, what happened? And that very much does answer it. Having another look at the play does make sense. And CJ trying to get a second one to the good. Bring up that safety net. Kaka in an important position. Wins out on that 1v1. Looks for the counter attack. Good luck with that. Where Boost has to make a miracle happen. Gets it all down to the other side and a demo. I think that's more than you can ask for.
That was a very, very nice clear up the pitch. It doesn't result in too much. Nice demo in the back half, but the clear from Tango goes the wrong way. Kami tries to get to the play. Good bump from Tango. Follow up as well from Kaka. Eventually allows Finn to cross up the field. Riot Gaming tries to collect boost, but there wasn't much midfield boost to find, so they need to keep things tight, and Tango makes it work. Tie ball game. Riot, they used everything to make this one count.
Kaka was up miles in advance. I saw him fly through, and I didn't know what he was doing there, but a phenomenal read leads to a Riot Gaming tying this game up. And at the start, I was pretty confident the Renegades would just take it, but Riot Gaming, they're putting in an effort and a half, and it's shaping up to be a phenomenal series with Renegades. They still want the win.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like, we've been talking a lot about the major, right? And obviously, Riot Gaming, they still have their hopes to make it, but they're going to need help. That's kind of out of their control. What still is in Riot's control is Worlds, that big final tournament at the end of the season, and that's where these tournament points really will come into play. Obviously, as we get later and later through the separate splits, we'll get more into it, but a win over the Renegades, who is still looking like one of those top 2 teams, that is a massive climb back after the Renegades' hot start, and that's something that Riot shouldn't be overlooking. They're still building their blocks for the future.
Oh no.
That future could be coming up sooner than later if they can find a victory here.
It's always something that has to be on the back of your mind. You always want to perform to the best of your ability. Kami not doing so quite there, as he wasn't going for the read and whether that play was going. All together fake out, and there you have Fever up for the show, and of course he converts this. That
was brutal spike from Fever right there, straight over the top of Finn, who could do nothing except watch that one zip on by 110 km/h. Renegades back in the lead at 2-1, 2:08 to go.
2-1 is the serious score as well, and Renegades, they can tie it up right here. 2 minutes left to go. Right, Gaming holding on to defense, but that has been a bit of a messy part. I feel like their attack has been a little better than their defense, even though I usually would say it the other way around. Tango extending that play, Kami blocking it. If another 50 happens, landing it back into the center. Kaka far back in defense will outpace CJ. CJ is able to rip a shot, but that's going to get right on the final defender.
It still will lead eventually to a clear in favor of Riot Gaming. They're needing one of these attacks to pay out about now, Hyperia. I feel 1:30 left on the clock. You don't want to be down. You don't want things to get too clutch. We can go back to game 2. To me, that still feels like an anomaly. And on the back foot once more, swing and a miss from Finn. CJ, chance to punish. Won't be able to find it in time.
Fever up to the play. His goals have not been an anomaly whatsoever. Okay, I shouldn't try using difficult words that I don't know how to pronounce, but Riot Gaming, well, they need to pronounce this victory, or at least this tie game.
How many languages do you know?
About 7.
Okay, so I'll give you a pass.
Well, I mean,
anomaly,
I know of a lot of languages. I can only speak 2.
No. You said 7. We're sticking with 7. All right, we're talking you up. Yeah, I'll give you a pass on anomaly this time. All right, when you have that large of vocabulary, you're good.
Thank you. I always say, as soon as I make a spelling mistake or whatever, I'm a lingual, guys. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, see, I don't have that excuse, and neither does Riot have an excuse, so they need to come through with a big save. Finn off the post, nearly takes it back up the other way. 30 seconds remaining. Kaka with the challenge. Doesn't quite find it. Perhaps Finn will look for the pass down. Instead sets up Tango. This attack is dangerous, but Renegades do just enough through Fever to make not 1 but 2 attackers miss. Fever gets the 3rd touch as well. Fever may have just saved this game.
10 seconds, and not just yet. They can't count their blessings. Fever takes it all the way back for a stroll in the park, and indeed, of course, that's a smart thing. Still out to the center. Riot Gaming are in control. Kaka into Finn. Finn tries to extend, but this is all Fever. Fever actually keeps it up into the center. He goes, why do you do that, Fever? You could have just let that drop. Or Fever, it doesn't matter. He still makes it close. They still take the victory.
Yeah, and that's a big victory again for the Renegades. Things were looking shaky at first. The tactical timeout back in control, and now Fever is looking like their own self, in particular, popping off in both of those 2 victories right now. You can see that, again, score doesn't mean too much, or not player score, the team scores, obviously, that 2-1, the most important score. But twice in a row, Fever does walk away with MVP with over 100 points in their favor.
So the only thing that actually matters is the team score, the 2-1. It doesn't matter how terribly you played, as long as you manage to get more on the board than your opponent forehead. It's simple.
Absolutely. Just win. Just score goals. Just be Fever and get resets across the pitch, all right? It's simple, easy to do. Or be like Kami and sit underneath the net and have the ball fall right into your lap so you can knock that one through. Look, the Renegades, this is still a tight situation for them and a tight series for them. Riot Gaming, they aren't making many mistakes, at least not in game number 4, and that could eventually become a concerning sign, especially if the defense continues to play well. Fever popping off, fantastic, but if Riot is able to keep a spy on Fever, if they're able to shut Fever down, the series becomes a lot more tense once again for the Renegades side. I feel as if I want to see a bit more from the entire team. I want to see that tempo continue to be increased, and I want to see if they can pull off a big Game 5 victory and win 3 in a row.
For Renegades, it's very easy to fall into a lull right now and think you've got it under control, but Riot Gaming, they will still come through. Stormy, start of game number 5 has happened, and the winner of this will place themselves on match point. Momentum-wise, this one is crucial for Riot Gaming.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. Tango shot on target. CJ just behind. Will come through with the save. Now Fever with the chance, slowing the pace down. Eventually Finn gets a delicate touch. CJ tries to bang it past. I don't know how Tango has the reaction time to make that kind of read. Either way, the Renegades still hunting. Eventually Kaka clears the space.
I feel like sometimes they just respond instinctively. They don't even realize it themselves. It doesn't clock in their brain until a later moment. Survival instinct kicks in. To have your survival instinct kick in a game of Rocket League, that's evolution, maybe.
That's the correct answer. I mean, again, I know this debate happens all the time, and we don't necessarily need to go too hard into it here between traditional sport athletes and esport athletes, but that reaction time, it is purely instinct. Your brain, like studies have been shown, your brain actually can't fire the neurons fast enough. It is instinct. It's crazy. Before you realize what you're doing, I should say. Either way, CJ back to Kami. Missile shot going to be saved this time by Finn.
Great Iron Dome and that defense to stop the missile from coming through. And popped out to the side. Kami catches it. Renegades are looking to suffocate Riot Gaming. Can't quite manage to do so. Double flip reset from Kami. It's not going to bring him any noticeable things. CJ still lurking into the attack. Finds the second tap. That's straight onto Tango. And here Riot Gaming needs to break out. I feel like this is a more traditional Riot Gaming that we're seeing instead of those first and two games where they now go on the counter attack. Not quite breaking through in its entirety.
Fever. Not a lot of boost, but a lot of control. Does get challenged from underneath, so will lose control entirely on that situation. 2 minutes in, still no goal scored. The longest we've gone before our opening point in our 5th game. It will be Riot trying to sniff it out next. Bumps from Finn as well as a demo, but no one there to tap the ball through. A bit unfortunate for Riot Gaming.
And during the counter attack, then I quick from Kaka to the backboard. That's a great opportunity for Finn, and indeed it is. Puts it into the back of the net. Riot Gaming up by 1.
And we haven't seen them in the lead since, well, technically game number 1, where they had the lead and held on to it just because it was that comeback victory in game number 2. So it's been a while since Riot's been out in front, but it's a good time for it to happen. Still over half of this game to go. Renegades need to respond. Fever, the player who you'd want to see pop off, will get shut down this time by Kaka. And Riot Gaming, they're looking very good again. So few mistakes. I love Fever going for bumps on Tango, though.
This is why it's so easy to fall into a lull. You can think, hey, yeah, no, we're back into form. That's what everybody back home thinks as well. As soon as Renegades started winning again, but Riot Gaming, they made it close every single time. It wasn't like they were completely knocked out. Now they're up by 1. Is they gonna hold on for long? Tango says yes.
That was a great dunk by CJ, though, to create that opportunity. It won't result into a goal this time. However, the Renegades, they're still playing aggressive. They're still trying to get in Riot's face as Finn almost gets advantage of CJ's touch right there. Had that gone in the net, we would have never heard the end of that one.
That would have been a really awkward one. It doesn't go through, so we can move on from that point. The Riot Gaming, they have to do what they're strongest as, and that's a defend against Renegades. Not necessarily they're strongest at defending against Renegades in particular, but just defending in general. CJ takes from the top ropes, though, looks for the ground pinch, meets Finn straight on the ground. Kaka sends one into the woods, goes into the counter attack, wants to fake out Fever, but that's not going to be happening.
Not this time, as Kami through the corner. We'll try to get that ball across the middle of the pitch. Can't go too far with it. Big demo as now Fever, no boost despite having the space. Renegades, only 1:10 remaining, might be getting a little bit more aggressive at this stage, and that's where Riot might find an avenue to punish. Tango steals the boost away from CJ, who misses the ball, so that tight space will lead to 1 bump onto Fever. No bump on the CJ, except for CJ's bump on the ball. Riot still content to slow it down in front of the net. Kaka's angle shut down by Kami.
Isn't a bump on the ball always happening? CJ bump on the ball? I'm not too sure, but I thought CJ was missing open nets, not just the ball altogether.
You would hope bumps on the ball are always happening. You would hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, CJ's got to learn something from that, but right now, Renegades in general have got something to learn against the Riot Gaming side, who just appear to be stronger, at least for the first 4 minutes and 30 seconds. That means there's still 30 seconds left to play. Riot Gaming are looking to be stronger in that as well.
That is a big goal out of Kaka right there. Midfield strike off the post and in. Kind of hinted at the idea that the Renegades might be starting to push too far forward. Well, Kaka does recognize and punishes. 2-point advantage in Game 5 should be enough to move Riot to match point now, Hyperia. Can they hold on for these 15 seconds? That clear may have just done it. And now as we look ahead, Renegades, they could drop in the quarterfinal. This could be another massive upset back-to-back.
we could be in the infancy stage of history here, Max. It's ridiculous, Riot Gaming moving on to match point against Renegades. And usually you'd say, okay, sure, semifinals, doesn't matter that much. Oh, yes, it does. Renegades, they are already through, but it's still Riot Gaming who are in contention for that major spot together with Ground Zero for that second one. And there's only 2 spots.
There are only 2 spots, and I'd have to say, if I'm Ground Zero, watching with bated breath, hoping that the Renegades could push it through, I'm getting more and more nervous right now because, look, with the way how these games are going today, with the script in the shredder as of yesterday, it really feels like anything can happen right now, and I'm not so confident in Ground Zero as just sort of a catalyst result of where we're going. We can get more into that later, though. Right now, let's focus on Riot Gaming and the implications if they get this victory. I kind of spoke before about those Worlds points, the idea that they still might be able to find a way to Sweden. Riot Gaming, they have so much to gain with the victory, not quite as much to lose. This could be a prime opportunity for them to really make this upset happen.
You see, as soon as there aren't necessarily nerves on the line, even though for Riot Gaming they have to stay in contention, they're fighting for their lives. It's still, you're able to shake it off, and a bad game is just a bad game, and that's it. No repercussions into that second game, or the game after that, rather. And Riot Gaming, their mental is incredibly strong, and I think that's exactly where that stoicness comes through, being able to grind this game out and make sure you stay true to what you know works.
Exactly that. It's been a consistent performance, realistically, from Riot Gaming, and are we really that surprised? Yes, yesterday didn't quite go their way, but do you think that affects this team? Okay, you get little smiles right there. I think someone actually may have told a joke, believe it or not, judging by Finn's reaction. However, this team, they keep their game faces on, it feels like, at all times, and they'll keep those game faces on until they get this series done and dusted. A chance for what could be the new biggest upset of the season, right after we just saw the last biggest upset of the season, Hyperia. It's Game 6, match point for Riot Gaming, and Fever just misses that opening goal.
Kaka out to the side now and looks for the counter-attack. It's a great challenge directly afterwards. Riot Gaming, they still have to go back on defense. They press back with Tango with a nice push wide. And that allows Fever to still continue. Fever up to the attack. That's always scary. Spikes it down. Kaka still up close, and Tango wants to take control of it. CJ out wide. Fever gets up into the mix. Tries to place that into the box, but Tango with a big boomer gets that away. CJ gives it away to Tango. To the backboard he goes. Finn is still there. Can't find the angle. Or can he? No, he can't. CJ carries that out wide. Finn, first responder, rips one to the backboard. Tango breaks through it off the crossbar. It rings into the back of the net.
Tango coming through with a bango shot right there. Bam! Straight off the defender and into the net. So much power was required on that one. Riot Gaming, they are out in front. Their dreams are still alive. Can they hold on to just over 4 minutes?
And they're laughing now. They're absolutely laughing. I feel like next regional, they're just going to wear sunglasses or something not to show any emotion, because we keep on commenting on it. It's so funny.
I mean, they still have 4 minutes to go, though. I mean, you can see they're starting to believe in themselves, I think, that they can pull off this upset. They're starting to see that light at the end of the tunnel. Rule 1 broken by Tango. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Either way, though, Riot Gaming, pass across the middle, shot is there. Kami does just enough for the save and puts the ball in a position where there is 0 follow-up.
The way I feel about that is they're basically playing for $1,800, and I'm just gonna say fair enough, you know. If it's just a random ranked game, fair enough. But CJ look for the flip for himself, the backward. Fever up to the play now, drops it off the ceiling, straight down to the ground as gravity does. Kami gets it up into the mix. CJ denied by Kaka. Counter-attack is kickstarted, but might be very short-lived as Fever is able to catch it all the way on the back end. Great rotation for Renegades to stay in possession.
What a pinch! Oh my goodness, Kami barely gets it, but here comes Kaka, no! Shut down by the squishy, follow-up shot's too high, third shot's the charm, it's gonna be Tango, and Riot Gaming get a 2-goal cushion.
Ruthless here, rips through it, and defender Kami has to say goodbye to his life, and Tango spices it up. Cool guys don't look at explosions, leaves it behind it, and scores. He's going to be driving off with absolute swagger right there. It's Riot Gaming. They're going to be feeling great. 2 up to the good. Finn getting faked out, or at least an attempt at fake up a CJ, but Renegades, they are not getting a lot of bait in right now.
Can I still can't believe how impressive that last goal actually was. I've been calling for Riot to be more aggressive like that on the attack, to just send it. There's no better way to send it than through defenders. We'll go back to this later because Fever has finally responded in kind. The Renegades do get one. It was Kami on the setup through that backward. Kaka a bit too hesitant on defense. And that gets Renegades back within striking distance. This series is not done yet.
You see Kaka stuck on the wall and you know it's trouble. You just know that that's going to be a goal for Renegades. They don't know exactly how to play in that scenario. And Riot Gaming, they have to keep strong in defense now. Can't sort of drop in. And Kami actually, he can't drop his guard either. Takes it out to the side and gets the boost. Such an incredible touch. Even though it seems like such a simple one, it allows his entire attack. It facilitates it where Renegades are able to move it into the attack. Tango with a clear away now, or at least an attempt at one double commit from Riot Gaming. And they can't be double committing.
CJ will try to find a pass to Kami. They don't connect, and Tango's already there. Bumping Fever off the ball as well. Finn tries to follow through. Fever, nice recovery. Able to hold the ball in the middle of the pitch for now. Renegades recognizing how important each challenge is. Speaking of challenges, Kaka almost just put another one through off of that one. Now we go back the other way. Tempo increasing at Fever. Looking for the strike. Has CJ off the backward. Back down to Kami. Shot is good. And the Renegades tie us up at 2 apiece.
Perfectly left side of the goal, sniped out by Kami. And Riot Gaming, I don't want to say still not learning, but Kami, he's been showing this, and I think this might even be the third one that he's off the woodworks and into the back of the net. No better way to place in a Riot Gaming. They have to bring themselves back. This is always that moment where you start doubting yourself, where you start trying to change your game style. Even in Riot Gaming, they haven't been doing what works, and they just need to stick to it. I feel like Renegade's defense, they're sitting back further to prepare for the boomers of Riot Gaming.
That they are, and then you have Fever who can create plays like this. The Renegades find their third. They bring it back for the first time in Game 6 as the Renegades with the lead. Only a minute 29 left.
Oh my, this swapped in an instant. Riot Gaming were in the lead, and all of a sudden Renegades say, no, we want it back. Riot Gaming, they are surely struggling right here. Finn not with the greatest touch out to the center. Kaka and his teammate Tango not quite replying in the way they could or should be. Straight into the box, and Kami, well, can he do it again? Off the post and in.
Where has this Renegades offense been hiding? They're finally finding the odd angles. They're finally getting those touches. Kami in particular starting to take their own striking abilities to the next level. A 2-goal cushion, a minute 16 to go. The Renegades, they take that Riot ship and crash it back to earth, it feels like, during this game. Hyperia, we're just over a minute away from another Game 7.
That script in the Shedder, I feel like the Shedder's caught on fire and exploded.
We burned it. I threw it off a building and into a fire.
Yeah! We burn it, Riot Gaming. They need to burn themselves back into this game as well. They're able to do so. They just need an accelerant.
That they do, and I mean, Tango is one of the fastest players on the pitch, right? Tango is usually up there. I think it's like still in the top 2 for most boosts taken and used on average per game. That's the accelerant I want to see come from Riot Gaming, but at that same token, Kaka seems to be playing next level as well. Everyone on this pitch looking in form. Kami misses the open net. That's a little bit awkward. Fortunately for the Renegades, it does look like this game might be under lock and key.
Was that Kami? I refuse to believe that's Kami.
It was.
It very well could have been.
Heartbreaking, I know.
God, terrible player. Can't even score off the woodwork and in, right? It's Riot Gaming, though. They're in a peculiar situation here.
Only been, I think, one of the most, like, the second or third most consistent player in Oceanic history. Well, there's a reason why Kami isn't first, all right? Either way, though, Renegades, they're still going to get a victory here. We're going to a Game 7, second time in a row for both the Direwolves and for Riot Gaming. I mean, each of them probably came into today with very different expectations, but they each find their way to that last hurdle. Maybe Riot can do what Direwolves did not. Maybe they can overcome. Maybe they can keep their dreams alive.
They surely are able to, but in that game 7, it will be tough. And what better way to prove us entirely wrong by Kami getting the MVP, entirely deserved, and Riot Gaming. They're now backed into a corner. It's going to be tough for them to try and fight their way out of it, purely because they had a 2-goal lead. It felt as if they had it locked up. They stayed in contention for the major. They still are, but just on the back foot.
They are on the back foot. They are playing for survival right now, and I think one of the big things we saw in that game, which needs to be addressed, was 15 shots on target from the Renegades during that 5-minute exchange. And it came from like the midfield. I feel like every single one of these replays you see, it's either Fever or CJ just getting a bang through that middle of the pitch up the field and having someone underneath to follow it up. Riot was trying to play a bit further back and sort of react to it. You commented on it earlier. They were giving the Renegades a lot of space, and the Renegades were finally putting it to use, particularly during those final 2 minutes. So as we do go to our 7th and final game of the series, I want to see Riot once again take that fight to the Renegades. And I've been saying this player's name a lot, Tango. This could be your time to shine. This is typically, or that I should say, is typically your type of style. Let's see if you can make it happen.
Game number 7 in a best of 7, meaning this is the last chance for both the teams. Renegades, if they win, ground zero is through, but if Riot Gaming win, which they currently are, they keep in contention for the major.
Well, that didn't take long for Finn to pop up. Technically, I'm not going to call it a double touch because he hit the ground, but I will acknowledge that was through traffic, not one but 2 defenders in their way, and it's Finn who takes the first strike. It is Riot who strikes the first blood. They're in the lead.
Renegades, they are not afraid to strike back though. Finn bouncing that away from net straight through the center. And you know what's happening when Renegades catch that ball, when they're able to set up a proper attack. CJ to the backboard. He can't score open net, but boy, have I seen him score those double taps. Not in this instance though. Fever still up to it. Off the crossbar. Another shot ringing through. Riot Gaming, they're under pressure. They need to break out. This war called in. Pinch off the crossbar out to the side. CJ in control. Up to the skies. Plenty of boost to work with. Fakes it underneath one. Doesn't have to control for a flip reset, but a good block. Will bring Kaka in a tough position. 50 out to the side, but Riot Gaming, they just can't break away. Finally, they do.
Oh my goodness, that Riot defense is back. Finn with the save of the season for this team thus far to give their 1-goal lead intact. That pinch off the post was massive, especially after the goal they scored. Finn has been the player we've been wanting to see step up from Riot. This has been the game to do it. However, they're not done yet. Renegades on defense about to flip it back around. Easy read for Tango. We go back across the middle of the field.
Go back, Riot Gaming. They're looking to bring up that safety net, or maybe not. Maybe they just play better with that 1-goal lead, because in the previous game, at least it didn't work out. And you have to think that's going to be playing on their mind as soon as they, or if they do get a 2-goal lead. That previous game is going to be lurking, but it might not even be the case. Tango, great control trap out wide. And Fever still up in the play, gets himself in the mix. Tango, clear away. Finn on the other side tries to extend, but Kami blocking that, interfering. Kaka taps that off the backboard, and I love what Riot Gaming are doing right now. They're tapping it, but staying in control.
Yes, that's the big thing that was lacking in that last game. And speaking of lack of control, CJ just misses a big one. Right, though, not quite in position to take advantage of it. The slower pace working against them. Renegades, they're still on the hunt. Past Sakami, the net looked open, but Tango positions just well enough, and it's another save off the post for Finn. They just cannot get it past this guy. CJ still just on towards the backboard, and Riot will corral it for now.
This defensive performance by Riot, can they actually turn it into an offense? Tango will very much respond with yes, and Kami and directly down to the other end. That attack for Riot Game was very short-lived. In theory, they don't need one, but do you want to be killing your nerves entirely and probably scratching 10 years off your entire lifespan by defending the entire game? No, but Riot Gaming, they just might be forced to do so as this goes across the pitch. Kami's still lurking in the corner.
CJ though gets the slice and will dice another gash into Riot Gaming's hopes. Great strike from CJ. We're tied with just over 2 minutes left.
Kaka must have thought that somebody else was going for that play. He kept on driving forward after the pass had already been there. And we go into a tight game. And with the way that this game has been playing out, massively favors Renegades.
You would think potentially. It has been so much Renegades attack, but that's where Riot is most comfortable as well on that defense. We said at the start of the series, it's the best offense versus the best defense in the region, going blow for blow against each other right now. You wouldn't want it any other way in a Game 7 situation. Can that Riot defense hold on? Can they prevent the Renegades from finding that go-ahead goal? But even then, can Riot even find the go-ahead goal themselves? Tango keeping the pace slow up to Kaka, who gets past one. Actually holds it up in place for the second. Tango's there. The net looks open. CJ on defense will get back in time to keep the game alive.
Such a tough position. Riot Gaming, they had a 3-on-1, but in that scenario, it doesn't really count that much. The ball floating into the skies. Tango floating after this one. Finn all the way by his lonesome in the backside. CJ catch. It was not necessarily great to catch. Fever has to turn in and bail him out. Tango, great pinch past one, maybe even past two. Kami decides to help out CJ. And they do bump each other, but they do manage to clear it. The ball has been hanging in the midfield a fair few times. CJ arcs it into the hands of Fever. Fever attempts one from distance. Finn, 0 boost though in Riot Gaming. This is exactly where they're struggling. Low boost in the tank for every single Riot Gaming player. CJ rips one, but denied. Riot Gaming is still in trouble.
This defense again holding on. Kami can't get the dunk. CJ still with no boost is going to try to play setup. Throws one up. Fever a bit too far back. Needs to get the read. Kami waits till the last possible moment to get that one alive and keep the attack moving forward. Nice fake from Fever underneath. CJ's there. Challenge in the corner. Finn can only do so much with it. Kaka's the one who plays it out. Now Tango gets behind. Barely beats Fever to the play, and that keeps the game alive, still kicking. 18 seconds left in regulation. Hyperia and Riot might be the team with the last strike.
The most important Game 7, which is potentially an overtime of the semi-finals that I've ever seen. Kaka out to the side, one last-ditch effort in regulation. Kaka tries to go underneath, sends Fever and Finn to the center. Now is there a shot coming through?
Tango's playing patient.
Has a ability, but Tango, he has his patience in the defensive end. Finn still to the backward. CJ taps it up high.
Tango's got a shot.
End of Tango up for it. Passes instead to Kaka, but Game 7 overtime.
Oh my goodness. How else can this series get any better than some extra minutes in this one? Kaka stopping Fever before the kickoff goal can come through. Finn will look to throw it down to Kaka in return. We'll be able to try to make a read off the backward. Great little pinch from CJ, follows through from Fever. That's Finn off that opposite backward. Doesn't get that same distance, but that's because it's not needed. It's a fake from Tango. Finn is there. Kami gets dunked on. An opening perhaps, but no one there to strike it down.
Riot Gaming, I feel like they're breaking out by missing the ball. It sounds very weird, but Renegades, they're expecting a hit. Instead, they whiff it, and they get a space. They get time to breathe, and Finn, they're going to be given no time to breathe for Renegades here. Looking to suffocate them in defense. Tango up for it, always been the third man. Now to the backward. Fever has a crucial touch. Needed to make that. But Kaka still pass off to the center. Fever looks to find that break in the defensive end for Riot Gaming, but that's a tough find. And that is a tough task altogether. CJ to the center. Fever extends the attack for Finn. That's a terrible clear out to the side, lands on the play though, and manages to keep Riot Gaming in this game. Fever
still gonna try to make that magic happen, takes it themselves to the backboard, that double! Almost goes through. It was the shot that won him the regional before. Not quite gonna get him through the quarterfinal today. A minute 17 still to spare. CJ pops one up across the pitch. Tango looks to challenge underneath, but the speed is too much. Kami not able to stay with this play. OB CJ looking to connect to Fever, instead finds Finn, and eventually Riot Gaming slows the pace down.
And slow the pace down, but Renegades, they want to up it every single time. Riot Gaming, they're sitting in defense yet again. CJ with a flip reset, gets almost past one. Well, that will be a great read by Finn. Tango into the counter-attack, 3-on-1 situation. CJ hurries back, goes for a challenge, but Finn looks for the second tap, doesn't quite find it. CJ with an interference, but now it's low boost for Renegades, and are they used in this scenario? No, they're not, because it's Tango breaking through, and Riot Gaming keep themselves in contention.
I love Rocket League. I love it so much. What a series. What a game. Riot do the near impossible. They take 7 against the #1 team. The streak is broken, and Riot Gaming still alive with a chance to go to Sweden.
A top 8 finish for the previous winner of Regional 2. And not only Regional 2, also Regional number 1. Riot Game and pull off something amazing here. They write history in this case already, and they can further that. They've got such a good chance because of right now. Up next is for Kitten.
Yeah, that's just it. Like, Riot, they're getting the matchup they probably wanted in that next semifinal. They're still fighting with that chance, but granted, their job's not done yet. In fact, their destiny is not even in their own hands. They're still going to be hoping that the day continues on this path. Isn't that right, Bass?